Bonjour tout le monde. My name is Tatyana, and today I would like to show you one of my favorite salmon recipes. It's roasted salmon with French Beurre Blanc Sauce. For this recipe, you will need 1 pound of asparagus, 2 tablespoons of white wine vinegar, a 1/4 cup of crisp dry red wine, olive oil, 1 lemon, half a red onion, heavy cream, fresh salmon, few tablespoons of chopped dill, and half a stick cold butter. The first thing you want to do is preheat the oven to 350 degrees Celsius. Then we are going to take off the ends of the asparagus by snapping them and taking off the tough parts. Next, we're going to season the salmon, and for seafood I like to use sea salt as well as black pepper. We're going to put everything on the same baking sheet and cook it all together at 350 degrees. Both the salmon and asparagus will be cooked together. We're going to add 1 lemon slice on each salmon and as well as on some asparagus. Drizzle some olive oil on both the salmon and the asparagus. Season the asparagus as well with salt and pepper. I also like to add some lemon to the asparagus as well. We're going to roast the salmon for 15 minutes, and if you'd like it more well done, for 2 extra minutes. So while the salmon is in the oven, we're going to start on the Beurre Blanc Sauce. And the sauce is very simple to make, and a lot of people are intimidated to make it, but I'm going to show you a very simple trick to ensure that the sauce turns out every single time and it is very delicious. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to slice half a red onion. To make the sauce, we're going to add a little bit of olive oil and add our onions. Then you're going to add about 2 tablespoons of white wine vinegar. And we're going to add about 1/4 cup of white wine. I like to use Italian Pinot Grigio for this recipe. The onions will cook in the vinegar and wine mixture, and it will allow the onions to get pickled and absorb all the flavor. Add about 1/4 cup of cream. Allow that to reduce with the onions. When you see the onions separating, this is where you turn the heat off and add half a squeezed lemon. This is where you will season with salt and pepper after the heat is turned off and you stop the cooking process. Mix everything thoroughly. After you turn the heat off and the cream has reduced, now's the time to add your cold butter, making sure the heat is turned off. And for the finishing touch, because I am Ukrainian after all, I'm going to add some freshly chopped dill. Not too much, just a little bit to freshen up the sauce and add a nice herbal flavor. So we're going to chop a little bit of the dill and add it to our ready-made Beurre Blanc sauce. I have about 2 tablespoons of dill right here. Okay, we're going to add our dill to the sauce. And once again, making sure you do not turn the heat on when mixing the dill. The residual heat, once again, will soften the dill a little bit, and it is ready to go. Okay, the last thing we're gonna do before plating our salmon is to taste the sauce. It tastes perfect. However, I like to add 1 extra ingredient at the end to take the sauce to a whole new level, and that is a pinch of sugar. Now, this is not a traditional ingredient by any means, but it really balances out the acidic flavors of the vinegar, the wine, and the lemon juice, so this sugar is definitely necessary. We're going to add about 1/4 teaspoon. Mix it as well. And we're going to give it another taste. Now it is absolutely perfect. You don't taste the sugar at all in the sauce. It just balances the acidity in the sauce and makes it just perfect for the salmon and asparagus. Let's plate our dish. Alright, before we plate, I just want to say a few things about the Beurre Blanc sauce. Most recipes will tell you to strain the sauce and discard the onions or the shallots that you use for the sauce. I think the pickled onions that we cooked in vinegar and wine are absolutely delicious. They add a nice color to the dish, and even my 5-year-old loves to eat them. So I definitely say leave the onions in your sauce, and I think it just adds a new depth of flavor to the dish when you plate them together. So let's plate our salmon and asparagus. So one trick I learned while working at a restaurant is when it comes to plating, when you take your first item on your dish, plate it in one direction, then we're going to take our salmon, plate it in the opposite direction, and we don't need this lemon anymore. And finally, we're going to spoon over the sauce. And we're gonna put this right over our salmon and our asparagus. Now, this is one of those sauces that you just want to eat with a spoon. It is that good. And we're just gonna put 1 leaf of dill right on top. All right, now we have our finished dish. So we have some asparagus, some beautiful salmon, and of course the pièce de résistance, our Beurre Blanc sauce. It came out just right. The consistency is beautiful. The butter did not separate. And the dill adds a nice, fresh, springy flavor to the sauce. So let's see how we did. The salmon is cooked perfectly. The 15 minutes is just right for salmon. And my personal favorite is definitely the onions in the sauce. They're nicely pickled. They add a nice balance to the buttery sauce. Definitely give this a try. This is a perfect springtime dish. I hope you enjoy it. Bon appetit!